Are hackers harvesting encrypted data now so as to decrypt later with quantum? Who's doing this, and what can be done about it?
If we look at the various hacks that have happened, what are hackers after? They're after the data, right? And so hackers, they don't need to be impatient. They can be very impatient with the data they steal because, well, they also don't know the date by which they will have access to an error-corrected quantum computer that can decrypt that data, but they can just hold on to that data. And so anybody, maybe governments, we don't even have to point fingers towards a particular government. Maybe any government is interested in harvesting the data. But if we look at the recent attacks that happened in the clothing manufacturing sector last week and in the retail sector the weeks before, then that's a lot of data that's been siphoned off. And for sure, this is a thing. Another consideration is, so when we talk about harvest now, decrypt later, is the shelf life of the data. So I delivered a session to the Digital Health Congress, and then we looked at, well, for how long does a GP, for example, have to keep the health data about you and me? For how long do hospitals need to keep data? And so there are differences. And so the shelf life varies from 6 years to 25 years to the end of our lives, right? And so by then, depending on what could be done with that data, that's an interesting consideration. And finally, mostly when we speak about harvest now, decrypt later, a lot of people, they talk about PII, so personally identifiable data, but that may not be so much the interesting bit. The interesting bit may be, let's say, if you have developed the best possible MRI scanner, you can do the best possible scan of a knee. You know how many revolutions that machine has to take. You're collecting that data. Industrial organizations, they have been collecting this data about these innovations for years and years and years because it allows them to improve their product. But imagine if somebody is able to siphon off that data about the product, the hardware, and then just rebuild it without investing massive amounts of money into that. So that data is very valuable, right? And so that may be another consideration in terms of harvest now, decrypt later.